All right, this is a screencast example of how to use the Smart Notebook version 10 software to use it to record a screencast. So I'm using CamStudio like we did in class last week, and that's going to actually record my screen here. To start up the Smart Notebook recorder, this is Windows 7 computer, so if I go down to the taskbar, choose my little smart board icon, and if I click on that I get many different choices here. I could start up my notebook software, but in this example I'm going to click recorder. This brings up our little Smart Notebook recorder, and it's very simple. All it is this big red button. So I'm going to go ahead and click this red button and start recording. I do have some options if I want to go to menu, choose options, just to make sure. These are all fine as default, so I'm just going to say OK. Now then, when I click the red button, I'm recording in Smart Notebook. So we are recording, and I'm just going to minimize this to get this out of the way. So it's going to go down to my tray down here at the bottom. And remember, I could not minimize CamStudio. It was causing us trouble last week. So I'm recording that. Now then, let's go ahead and open up the Smart Notebook program itself, and this is recording itself. So now then, this is version 10. It opens up, and then since I've got this long microphone cable, I can walk over to the smart board itself, and I'm just going to go ahead and use the tools. Let's maximize this here. So I'm going to pick up the green pen and just start writing. Now then, it is recording my voice and also this at the same time. So I can do my lesson. We'll do black, and that just gives you a quick example. Or I could come up here and choose the pen tool and choose my color, whatever way I want. So let's say I'm done with that. I'm going to click on my slide number 1 here in slide sorter view, and I'm going to say clear the page. I don't want any of those annotations. Now, the other very handy thing with Smart Notebook Recorder, I don't know if you've ever used this feature or not, but in between the two icons at the top, this little screen right here says full screen. If I click on that, that takes me to full whiteboard. I've got a little tool palette here, so if I click this icon right here, it will exit that. But the one right next to that, the checkerboard pattern, that's my transparent background. So if I click on that, it's as though I can see through this Smart Notebook software. So this is very handy for annotations, anything that you have on the computer. So let me go ahead and click on that transparent mode, and it's like we can see through. I've got my toolbar here, so I still have capability to take notes. And let's just open up Eastern's homepage. So since I have this available to me, I can choose my pen tool, and then let's say that I want to choose highlight faculty and staff right here. All right, or I could walk over here, and if I pick up the red pen, I can highlight that. So I'm just annotating over whatever's on my screen. I know we have some English teachers, grammar, sentences, things like that, whatever you might have out there. And then whenever I'm finished with that, I'm going to go back here, and then notice over here the transparent. So if I click on that, that will take me back to my Smart Notebook, and notice it remembers my annotations there. Now, those probably aren't going to be useful to me on a blank white piece of paper, but I'm just going to go up here and clear the page again. So that's a very, very handy tool if you're using this for screencasting. So I'm done screencasting here. Let me close out, click the red X here. Do I want to save this? No, I do not. Let me just close out my Internet Explorer browser, and I'm still recording here. I am also still recording down here, so I'm going to bring up, this is my Smart Notebook recorder. To stop recording, as soon as I press this blue square, it's going to stop. So this is what you would be doing if you're using the Smart Notebook recorder. So I'm going to press stop, and you'll stop hearing my voice. And then it asks me where do I want to save it. Now, in the Smart Notebook recorder, you're not hearing my voice right now, but since I'm still recording CamStudio, it's continuing on here. So let's go ahead and just record this, or save this again to the desktop. July 17th, and let's just call this Screencast Example, and let's save it. And this is my Smart Recorder saving. This saves it out as a WMV file, I believe, since we're using Windows here. So once again, it'll go out there. Right now, on my CamStudio, I'm about 300 seconds here. So this continues. I'll wait just a second, let this finish up. And then whenever I finish the recording session with CamStudio, we'll just do a demo. I'll open it up off the desktop here. Now, shorter's better on these screencasts. So, you know, I said 1 to 3 minutes is a good length out there. We're probably getting on 5 minutes here, so I'm getting a little bit long. You want to break things up into chunks. There we go. And then it asks me if I want to play the recording. If so, I just check that box and say, okay, I'm not going to play it here during our recording here. So we're finished with that. I'm done with this, so I'm going to close this out. And then lastly, as soon as I press the blue button here, this is my stop button for CamStudio. Very important, anytime you start a screencast, always stop it, because if you forget about it, you're going to fill your hard drive up. So it's very, very important to always stop it. So we're going to call this good, and we'll just stop it right now.